welcome. Good to see y'all here. Well, five of you so far. But we got a few minutes before class officially starts. I hope you've enjoyed the last reading assignment, The State of the Automotive In-Car User Experience in 2020. Yeah, it's a little dated, it being 2024, but I felt like it was a valid thing, especially with the videos. So we might look at just a little snippet of two of the videos. The ones that I feel were the best interfaces, and we'll talk about why. And, oh, good, we're getting everybody else here. Talk about, their use of display on windshield screen. I think that's really impressive. In other words, this is beyond what we can do as a class, but imagine your interface, some of it being projected onto the screen of the car. So as you're looking at the car and seeing where you're going, you also have off to the side some small information about, either directions or speed or something like that. I've always wanted to do that, so I'm excited about that idea. And the other thing is the haptic response. So we'll talk about that too. I'm waiting for the official clock to turn 6 so I can start it. Here, we'll share my screen to get everything going. Okay. I have updated the links. If you sent me the low fidelity prototype, thank you very much. I got the link in there. You might as well, click on it and check it out. I believe there's one that does require a password, so I got to work that out too. Okay. So you've got this stuff worked out. That's awesome. You got color, controls, and then you at least know what these things are. For the most part, they're probably not going to be in there. Okay, 6 o'clock, we can get started. The first thing I'd like to talk about is this article right here. I felt it was a good article. I will note that one prediction it made was false. It ended this article with a prediction that the future would be a collaboration between car companies and tech companies. That hasn't come out that way. So in 4 years, what we've seen instead is the automotive companies, well, the traditional automotive companies, Ford, GM, etc., adding UX UI departments and whole sections to the companies. So they've basically just swallowed up the tech. And so his future about this collaboration didn't happen at all. Instead, car companies are recognizing they need to become tech companies to at least a certain degree. So that was interesting. I will agree with him that Tesla really shaped the industry and changed the way people thought about cars with their touch screens, and it really rocked the traditional manufacturers into action. Okay, so a few points. Yeah, it's really EV, the electronic car or the battery driven car that's really changing the industry. And that's where we see most of the investment going. Therefore, that's where we see the fanciest screens. But I think pretty soon, it'll probably apply to every new vehicle is going to have a fabulous screen. Excuse me. Again, he talks about safety. We understand safety. My favorite part of this whole article is all the samples, and I hope you took the time to look at some of those. My favorites were the Mercedes Benz and the Porsche. So let's just look at a little bit of those. Remember how I said that some of the things that are beyond our ability in our class right now is to display how some of our designs, icons, etc., could be projected to the screen. Well, that's what's going on right here. So I'll back up just a touch and play this. I guess the sound's going to work for you. I'm not sure. So right there, augmented reality function. They're basically taking some of the interface, applying it to the windscreen, the front screen of the car, and it becomes not just the way to look at what's really out there, but actually gives you instructions about where to turn, how fast you're going, etc. So I'm really excited about that. I love that idea. And if you look at the rest, you'll see that, it's a well done interface. It is stacked, it is vertical, which sets us up completely different. We have status bar, but then we have the search. And then instead of this being either on the left or at the bottom, they put it more in the center, which makes sense because the screen is so big. Okay, in the Porsche one, and by the way, as you probably know, both of these cars have electronic traditional dashes where RPMs, speed, engine temperature, gas levels, all that is normally kept. And they have the second screen, the infotainment screen,
the main screen
right here.
which has all the usual info you've got on your PCM unit. You can put this electric sound on, which is, I think, a must if you've got the Taycan. It sounds amazing. You can also change all the chassis and the height levels, recuperation mode, which you'll learn a lot about if you're going for the Taycan. It also displays your sat nav as normal and surround view and your reversing and cameras. You've also got this new central display unit as well, which has got great haptic feedback on it. This gives you information on your climate control, your charging when the car's switched off, and it's also got a touch screen on it which you can move and can control the main screen as well. Overall, the display screens and the new interior of the Taycan is amazing. It's very intuitive, and I think everyone will be falling in love with it when they get a chance to have their hands on.
I don't think most manufacturers are going to have 3 screens in their car. I just don't think it's practical enough, cost-wise, to do that. If you're charging over $100,000 for a car, yeah, we can probably do that. Let me. I wanted to note. I wanted to talk a little bit about icons, and I wanted to use this as an example of the icons. So let me see. All right, yeah, right here. Okay. So notice these icons, I refer to these as solid. And that's because the shape of the icon is filled in with white. And there's no outline. There's some small details, but generally it's a solid white shape. Now, over here, we have what I refer to as line icons. And notice how they use this as a hierarchy. So because the white on black and is bigger and more solid, it creates a stronger focal point, better contrast, so your eye is attracted to this before it's attracted to this. That doesn't mean that one icon is better than the other, but um, so I'm pointing out two things. I want you to look at your icons and ask yourself, are we using solids or line? Or a combination. There's a third type, which is a little bit of line, a little bit of solid. I would hope that your main icons are all the same type across your entire navigation system. So whatever your, let's consider this the main navigation on this vehicle right now. They chose solids and they didn't go from solid to line to a combo. They went from solid to solid to solid. So look at yours and it could either be line, 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 or combo, 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 or solid, solid, solid. I don't care. Just make it consistent. There is one advantage to solids that I pointed out, which is hierarchy. It has stronger contrast, stronger focal point than the line. Okay, so something for you to consider with your interface. All right. Tesla's interface, for this is going back to the article, it's been criticized for perhaps being too futuristic for some people. It's a little too advanced. We won't go into that. I think back in 2020, there was a very specific market that was buying this type of car. They loved Tesla, they loved Elon, and he could do no wrong. I think that honeymoon is over, and I think Tesla's going to have to be a little more for the masses and not just for the people that love Tesla. If they're going to continue to sell cars at a very high rate. That's my prediction. Oh, and one of the vehicles that they did talk about has, since in the last 4 years, gone into bankruptcy, Polestar. This was a company that was bought out by Volvo, set up in the United States. Still exists. It's under a new name. It's New Ride Incorporated now. So I'm not sure if they're going to make it as a car company. I think that's kind of just interesting because what a gamble. You know, what inspired people to buy this car? And it's a brand new company, and now they're gone. Who's going to fix this thing? Who's going to maintain it? And what do you do if you need a part now that Polestar is no longer a company? So that's something that I found very interesting. All right. So I think there was no questions about what's due for week 4. Let's look at week 5. Oh, at this point, you may be thinking, Johnson, you certainly made us make a whole lot of screens. You know, why did you go crazy and say we had to get 15? Well, think about the class. If next week is week 5, that gives you only week 6 to finish everything. And you're thinking, well, you got week 7. Well, yes and no. Week 6, you're going to do your second usability study on your high fidelity prototype. So really, you got to have all the screens necessary for the usability study. So if you link here, open a new tab, please. We really want you to have all the screens so someone can find a gas station using maps. You want a system to pair your phone, so you need a way not just to have a connection to your phone for music, but you want to be able to click on something and add your phone. So you got to think about screens and, all of these things, as you know, are a series of screens, not just one. Turn on the music, lower the temperature, make a phone call. So those are your 5 things, and the semi has one thing that's different, and that is the health and strength of the battery as a review. Because the battery, or the semi in this case, is, in theory, a battery operated semi that has on board a very small diesel engine and diesel fuel tank that can charge on the go. A very interesting idea. I think it'll work. Okay. So going back to week 5. So you might think the class is going really fast, but hey, it's a spring summer class. 15 weeks is condensed into 7. So yeah, there's a lot to get done. Our reading is about Tesla. So I think you'll enjoy that because it's more interface and you're building an interface. I want you to reference your overall goal and, trying to remind the person interviewing you for a job. That's how I see these books being used, is the book can stand up for you, this booklet, this research booklet, and explain that you really understand this industry. And so I want you to be able to explain your overall goals, and particularly related to the human being. What are the needs of the person? And that's very important to this industry. It's probably the single most important thing to a UX UI designer. Okay, in general, I want you to understand what dialogues are. That's any form of text that's going to pop up on the screen. So I want you to make some examples of that. And then, related to alerts and confirmations, yes, those are a dialogue, but they're normally, they are some type of warning. Are you deleting your personal profile? Are you sure you want to delete all the information? So you give the person not only a dialogue, but a little warning along the way. Usually use red or orange. You sometimes use an icon to emphasize that. And then we're trying to get 6 more screens. So 6 and 15, 21. Ideally, if you're not there by the end of that week, just send me an email. Help me understand what's up. And if anybody's having problems with the the software for prototyping, please let me know. I'd be happy to work out a way to visit with you. Okay, let me go back to Teams here. Stop sharing. Okay. Well, I don't have everybody here. Okay, so that gave you a pretty good overview of what the reading was and what I liked about the interfaces that we had the chance to look at. And then gave you a little hint of what's coming next week. Any questions? Oh, look at that. I did that all in 16 minutes. That's very impressive. No? Yes? Okay. All right, remember, if you don't have your link to me for the low fidelity prototype, I need it. If you're having problems making that, let me know. I can help out. All right. Thank you very much. You have a good day.